So you are manifesting a specific person. Your person has ghosted you, and they don't want to talk to you. So you looked up YouTube and found some videos on manifesting. Some videos make sense, and you started applying Neville Goddard's teachings. In between, there was a video that said, you have to ignore the 3D. You started to follow this advice, and you started ignoring the reality you were in. But the more you tried to follow this advice, the more focus you were putting on your circumstances. The more you became aware of your 3D circumstances, the more alone you felt. Did it ever happen to you? Comment and tell me. When I was new to these teachings, this happened to me too. But later, when I started consciously manifesting, I realized that I didn't have to ignore 3D. Yes, you have heard it right. You don't have to ignore the 3D. Many people struggle with ignoring 3D. This happens because of the incomplete information they receive. They read posts and comments that say that you have to ignore 3D without fully knowing what it exactly means. If I say to you that you don't have to imagine a pink-colored panda shaking its booty, you don't have to imagine a pink-colored panda. What happens? You are imagining the exact scenario. You can't help but imagine that panda twerking. Even if the instructions were clearly given to you, your mind was picturing them, and now you are focusing even more on them. This too happens when you read the comments that say to ignore the 3D, and you start focusing on the 3D more. This is not the right approach. You don't have to fight your 3D. The only thing that matters when manifesting any of your desires is to focus on your desired state of being. It is to focus on the feeling of the wish being fulfilled. Your focus must remain on having your desires instead of your current circumstances. 3D is not your enemy. It is just reflecting the dominant assumptions back to you. 3D is your friend forever, showing what you are doing internally. If the external circumstances are unfavorable, then your internal reality is not at point. This means your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions are unfavorable internally. When you make that internal shift, everything changes drastically. You might have heard that 3D is dead. It is just old news. It does not matter. It is just a mirror of your mindset. Ignoring it always seems to be tiresome. Rather, you have to follow the tips that I am now giving you. Always remember that it takes some time for your assumptions to reflect in your 3D reality. When this happens, there is a lag. So whenever you start imagining your desired reality, and the 3D is showing the opposite picture, instead of fighting it, just remind yourself that it is old news. It is an old thought. My life is changing. The circumstances are changing, and the 3D is catching up. Instead of ignoring it, just start imagining the reality you wish to see instead of your current reality and move on. Also, if your 3D is showing some unfavorable circumstances, just remember that the 3D is not permanent. It keeps on changing and shifting. Nothing is permanent, and it can be changed by putting in the appropriate efforts. Instead of ignoring the 3D, just imagine the state of the wish fulfilled. Just live in the desired reality much more. Resistance only happens when you haven't fully accepted the desired reality as yours. Whenever you find yourself complaining about 3D, then you are doing it wrong. It is because, firstly, you are telling yourself that the circumstances cannot be changed, which is totally false. Secondly, you think you are powerless to change anything, which is false too. Stop reacting to it and give it minimal importance. Just imagine the scenario you want to manifest and persist in this new state of being. Suppose you went to an event and you saw your SP there, and they were ignoring you. Instead of feeling sad, reacting, or complaining, remember that it is not permanent. The 3D is just reflecting your fears back to you. Remind yourself that it is old news. These are the old thoughts, and things keep changing. Just remind yourself by imagining a scenario where you are already in a relationship with them. Feel the fulfillment of your wish, and move on. Attend the event and direct your attention to the things happening there instead of ignoring your SP and thinking about them. The reality will change in no time if you do this. I know it must be difficult. It would seem difficult at first, but with practice, it will become easy. You will get it. If you are feeling really low, just remind yourself of the favorable things that you manifested consciously in the past things that happened to you when you changed the way you thought. This will make things better for you. Always remember that nothing great can be achieved by complaining. Things might go wrong or right, but you must always stay in the state of having your wish fulfilled. Notice where your attention is going. Is it in your favor? Every moment you experience must fill you with joy. You are the cause of your joy and misery in life. Your mind creates joy and misery. Two people attending the same event will feel different. Even if you attend the same event twice, you will experience it differently. Nothing stays the same. Change is the only constant. So, accept the present moment with open arms. Difficult situations may arise in your life. But, trust me, the solutions are also provided with them. Your focus must be on the solution and not the problem. With this, I hope it helped you in some way. Subscribe to watch more such videos. I will meet you with another golden nugget. Happy manifesting.